And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
Hello to all my Rowdies fans here in Tampa Bay. This is James Knowles with RBLR Sports and specifically RBLR Rowdies. Last week we had producer Eureka on, but this week we have our returning champion. You know him, you love him, Leo Santos. How you doing?
I'm doing good, James. Thank you for that amazing introduction. It's put me in the right spot coming after that 2-1 defeat against the Miami FC. But hoping to bounce back this week with 2 games. We'll get to those later, but yeah, it's good to be back.
Good. Well, and we have you back this week specifically for a very important interview. We are introducing to anybody who doesn't know him at this point, the president of Ralph's Mob, Aaron Retkes. And if you want to come on, Aaron, just say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
All right, cool. So, if you can, please tell us who you are and what Ralph's Mob is, all that, basic introduction stuff.
As you say, my name is Aaron. I've been kind of involved with the team, kind of going to games and whatnot since 2010, since the beginning, essentially in the old Steinbrenner field. I represent Ralph's Mob. I'm the president or CEO or whatever top echelon you want to say for Ralph's Mob since 2018. And we are basically the supporters group for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Us, along with the Skyway Casuals, are the main individuals in the support section. We're there to make noise and support the team and bleed green and gold. There's really not much else to say other than that. I mean, I would hope by now that anybody that's familiar with the team or has come to a game has seen us or heard us or felt us. So, we'd like to continue to do that as much as possible.
Good. And the couple games that I've been able to make it to this year, they've obviously been very loud. I was trying to sit as close as I could to Ralph's Mob, and it was always putting on a good show.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
So, if you could, just very briefly, give us a little rundown of what you do as the president of Ralph's Mob. Nothing nitty-gritty here. Obviously, you don't need to spoil how the sausage is made, so to speak.
Right. First and foremost, as the most visible aspect of what I do is I play the drum. So I'm front and center, kind of leading the chants and leading the rhythm, and just kind of staying in the pocket and maintaining the cadence and the noise as much as possible. Other than that, I mean, there's plenty of things behind the scenes. Obviously, from the organizational standpoint, we are a 501c nonprofit, so there's quite a bit of things that go on behind the scenes in regards to charities and operational things that we do to do away days and tifo painting and events outside of the game day experience. Obviously the operations for the actual game day experience and any tailgating and merchandise and all that stuff. Obviously I'm not alone. I have lots of extremely dedicated help of a group of volunteers that help to facilitate all of these things as well as we can. With that being said, we're always looking for more people to be involved. So if there's anybody out there that wants to kind of take the next step in involvement with the team and with the game day experience and with the mob, you're more than welcome to come up and speak to any of us. We always need a hand in everything from travel planning to activities, to charity stuff, to tifo painting, to tifo ideas, to all that stuff. So it is quite a small handful of people that really drive this thing and make the decisions. But we're always looking for ways to open it up for new members and new people coming around. I've heard in the past that it seems maybe that it's not so obvious how to get involved, but really every single one of us has just kind of walked up and said, what do you want me to do? And that's you got to want it. So that's kind of
Sure,
how it
sure.
that's kind of how it happens. But many things on the books in regards to the things that we do and things that we'd like to plan to do. I mean, not everything obviously is possible with the time restraints and constraints and money constraints and all of that stuff. But we try to have a good time, and we want to keep that going as long as possible. With everything kind of up in the air in regards to the future and a location and stadium and all that stuff. Right now, we're just kind of ignoring that, and we keep on trucking. So,
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's all good, and I have loved the tifos that I've seen this season. Especially the recent one for Sebastian Guenzotti's 100th appearance. I thought that was super awesome. But you also mentioned the charitable aspects of the organization that you have. So, can you give us a little rundown of a couple of those, and maybe the ones that are most current right now?
Yes, so we've done quite a bit of charity work of various charities throughout the years. Everything from the Gold for pediatric cancer and things like that. We most recently did our Pride Raiser this past June. Pledges per goal that will go to the Metro Inclusive, I believe it is. So I mean, I really hate to not name things that we're doing, but I am not directly in charge with that aspect of our inner workings. But we do try to do quite a bit of charity every year, various causes and various locations. But for the most recent, it was the Pride Raiser in June.
Okay, gotcha. That's also really awesome work. I think that's a super important thing, and it's really good to see that people are doing everything they can to make this an inclusive environment and make it, put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. So you said that, if people want to get more information for that kind of stuff, where would they go? I believe your website is ralphsmob.com, and then you have a bunch of socials.
That's correct. ralphsmob.com would be kind of the most obvious point place. The emails and contact info and things like that are there. We do have our multiple social media outlets, be it Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. But really, the best place for any type of interaction or really most up-to-date information in regards to our activities and any team activities, as well as ticketing and any sort of banter and communication, is all on the Ralph's Mob Discord. So we've really tried to migrate away from Facebook and Facebook groups and things like that, because the algorithms really kind of shaft you after a while in regards to exposure and reach. So we wanted to migrate off of those platforms and go into somewhere where we really have control over the flow and the information and the connectivity of it all. And Discord has been really a revelation this past year, these past 2 years. So all of the conversations in regards to the game day experience and any TIFO ideas and away day planning and travel and the ticket exchange is on there, which has taken off really well in regards to people looking for tickets when official tickets may no longer be available. Season ticket holders will put up their tickets in the ticket exchange there, up for grabs, whether it's for the monetary value or for free or whatever. So that's a great place for ticketing options as well. As well as really everything else. I mean, anything mob related, the Discord would be the go-to, and the link for our Discord channel can be found on our social media outlets as well as the website.
Okay, perfect. Well, that is all good information, and I definitely encourage everybody to check that out. I am a lurker in the Discord for the most part, but I do enjoy all of the memes and the information that gets put on there for everybody to enjoy. So the other thing that we wanted to get into here, we've got a couple questions. Leo's written his out and I've got mine here. Leo, if you want to get started and jump into those.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you again, Aaron. And I just want to ask you, you name all these wonderful things about being a president of the Ralph's Mob, but what do you personally love most about both the Ralph's Mob being president, and what do you love most about the Rowdies in general?
Um, well, lots of things. Respectively, firstly, I don't love being mob president. That moniker and everything comes with a lot of baggage, both internally and externally. Um, in regards to the team, I mean, I love this team. I was looking for, when they first came back in 2010. Unfortunately, I was never able to make it to any Mutiny games back in the day. And then when the Rowdies or FC Tampa Bay came back, I instantly jumped on the opportunity to support a local team. I think I went to the second game ever, and already there was a group named Ralph's Mob with behind a banner making all this noise. And I was just like, well, how do I not know about this? Who are these people, and why are they already set up? The team just started. Like, how am I so out of the loop? So, I instantly kind of joined and really was started to be deeply involved probably around 2013, 2014. I mean, before then, I was just kind of going to games. And then when our first president, Charlie, moved away, I kind of took over the drum at that point. And then the involvement kind of escalated from there. So, I like the supporters culture. We have quite a unique supporters culture here in Tampa Bay, meaning that essentially we have these two groups, the Mob and the Skyway Casuals, that essentially are kind of under one umbrella, which is not really normal. Everywhere else you have multiple supporters groups for each team. Usually the supporters groups a lot of times don't get along. You have all of this tension in the stadium between the groups, and then between the groups and the team, and so on and so forth. Not to say that we haven't had our issues with the team in the past, but as it stands right now, especially in the last few years, really it's the best it's ever been in regards to the connection and the relationship with the team and the front office, while at the same time simultaneously maintaining our independence of the team. So it's a very rewarding endeavor in regards to firstly the organizational aspect of Ralph's Mob and doing all of this stuff in regards to the travel. And we're a very well-traveled supporters group. I mean, we've been everywhere from New York to Seattle and everywhere in between. And then also the actual game day experience, me being on the drum, that's an extremely satisfying and I'd like to say probably a very necessary thing for me, because I need that exertion. I need that that anger to be pounded out onto the drum, because I would probably put that energy into something not as positive if I wasn't on the drum. So yeah, in all aspects, it's become a huge part of my life, and residual of parts of other people's lives that are connected to me, because this is such a big piece of what I do and who I am. So yeah, I love every minute of it. Even all of us have gotten burnt out multiple times on all this stuff, but every year when the season is up and coming, we're all excited and we're all back in it 100%. So it's not something that I can give up easily. That's for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously we've seen last season the Rowdies went on to win the Eastern Conference Final, canceled due to COVID. But one thing I noticed was that Rowdies were making noise in the local area. As your role with the Ralph's Mob, what do you think are ways for the fan base here in the St. Pete and the Tampa area to grow even more for this Rowdies team?
Well, that's a great question. And something that doesn't really have an easy answer, because we've seen different tactics and different efforts put on by the previous regimes of the team and the current one as well, in regards to zero marketing in the beginning to all out marketing, like we did under Bill Edwards with commercials and billboards and all this stuff, and then now we have quite a wide social media presence in regards to the team. Maybe not so much outright traditional marketing, but that's definitely stepped up in the social media realm. And really, there really hasn't been a significant blip in the attendance, I mean, we can fit 7,000. Sometimes we sell out that 7,000, but other than that, averaging 4,000 or 5,000. I mean, what it's going to take to increase that or to double that, I really have no idea. I mean, maybe MLS, but that seems like a cop out, because I'm not sure that I want those fair weather fans anyway. So it's tricky. It's really tricky because still sometimes walk downtown with the green and gold in my top hat, and people are asking me if it's St. Patty's Day, and I'm like, no. The Rowdies play 2 blocks from here. How do you possibly not know this? So, what can we do about that? I really don't know. I mean, we've tried many things, many things. We've tried from a mob perspective. We've gone out and tried to do watch parties in Tampa and Sarasota and all this stuff, and it's still always the core fans, the hardcore fans that are here, and everybody else. If some people want a nice night out, but that's not going to be every week. So, how do you increase it? I really don't know.
You don't know. Well, that's one thing I would say is that the energy I'd be seeing from the games, the broadcast games, is that it's active, it's lively, it's loud in there, and I think, not I'm saying that it's enough, but it's more than enough, and it's kind of showing that people are really passionate about the team. And I'm pretty sure eventually down the line, the fan base is only going to grow even more, especially with the Rowdies the way they're doing right now. Yeah, we might see bandwagon fans come on only because they're winning. Maybe they weren't there when the Rowdies weren't as good now. But I think right now you see slowly, little by little, people are paying maybe not a lot, but at least a little bit of attention towards this Rowdies team. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
It's funny. The general consensus, the kind of the cliche around the world is the worst teams usually have the biggest and loudest support, because when the product on the field is crap, then it's up to you to just have fun in the stands. I mean, thank goodness that we're doing so great and that we have been. So definitely the quality on the field and the performance of the team have been great, fantastic. I mean, if there were fair weather fans waiting for us to be good to tag on, then now what are they waiting for? So,
right, exactly.
Exactly, yeah. I want to ask you, Aaron, real quick. Are there any special? Because recently we just seen 2 Rowdies players make their 100th appearances for the club. Are there any special plans for celebrating Seba's and Leo's landmark benchmark for the Rowdies?
Yes. So the tifo that we hoisted for Seba was essentially the celebration of the 100.
Brilliant, by the way.
I mean, obviously,
really
when it all comes down to it, I mean, 100 games, 100 caps for a team, in the global view, isn't really a big deal, but at this level in USL and in the soccer pyramid here in the States, there is no such thing as team loyalty. Really, everybody's just trying to make it. Obviously, since we're not the pinnacle of the sport here in the country, a lot of times this is just a stepping stone to bigger and better things, if you will. So really, anyone that reaches the 100 games, we like to make a big deal out of it. Going all the way back to our first centenarian, which was Frankie Sanfilippo, I believe, either that or Yamada. Ooh, my people are just going to bite my head off for that now. But anyway, so yeah, it's a big deal. We like to give the players their due and to let them know that we appreciate them. And Leo hit his 100th, or will be hitting his 101 this Tuesday, hopefully, if he plays. But it doesn't matter because we already have it painted, so we are displaying something for Leo as well. It's definitely a stressful thing having something like this back to back, which we did deal with that once before. I believe that was with Savage and Tamika. I think they kind of hit within like 2 or 3 weeks of each other. But we wanted to make sure that we didn't want to join those two into one tifo. We wanted to give both players their individual display. So hopefully there's no big rain or big wind tomorrow. So because that can kind of spoil the surprise. But yeah, we do have something in store, and it looks great.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I'm pretty sure the players are gonna notice it. I'm pretty sure they're really appreciative by now. And I don't know if you noticed lately on social media, but there's been this trend going around where people make their own Mount Rushmore. So there could be a hip hop Mount Rushmore and all-time acting Mount Rushmore. So I want to ask you, who is on your Rowdies Mount Rushmore?
Oh wow.
Only
as
choose
far-
4.
players.
Yeah,
right?
players. Yeah.
Well, for me, the Mount Rushmore of players, I would say would have to be Takuya Yamada, Georgi Ristov, ooh, and then the other two, man, that is really tough. I'd say probably Jeff Antonella, just because of that winning year and the saves, and he's gone on to do great things. So that's number 3. And then Neil being a player and a great player for us for as long as he did, and then transitioned into such a great coach and really just transformed the whole culture of the team. I mean, even though it's kind of a cop-out because he's not a player now, but he was, so he'd be my 4th.
No, that counts. That definitely counts. There's some good international flair to that Mount Rushmore.
No room for Guenzati?
Guenzati's still on his way up, so he's still chiseling his face on there, but it's not done yet. It's not done yet.
He's in a conversation. He'll soon be in a conversation. Okay.
That's right.
I could live with that. So far this season, we've seen new faces come in this season. They all play their own roles. They made appearances every now and then. Which new signing has impressed you the most so far?
New signing?
Yes, sir.
Well, given that most of our signings are old, I mean, man, it's got to be Dos Santos, right? I mean,
yeah,
he's really come in. He really needed no betting time or no grace period or anything like that. He just came in and started banging in the goals. I mean, we haven't had a true target man since Antoniuk, maybe in like 2014, I think it was, and we've greatly missed that sort of outlet, that sort of option. So when he came in and had an immediate impact, not just the holding up the ball, but just general play and positioning and all that stuff, he was immense. So that was a horrible loss to injury for sure already.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to think that we weren't completely 100% dependent on him already, but viewing the last few games, maybe we were. So it's we'll hopefully he'll be back in the squad soon. Yeah, I'd have to say that's definitely the most impactful signing by far.
Yeah, I would agree with you. In like recent podcasts, recent episodes, James and I, we say like almost every single episode how this team hasn't really been the same ever since that injury to Dos Santos. And yeah, like you said, at first it was like it didn't seem as if the team fully relied on Dos Santos, but now we're starting to see a little bit of it. They haven't really had another winning streak ever since he got injured. They've been dropping points here and there. So what do you think they can do to change that? Well, what can they change to, stop losing games, or basically go on not necessarily a 5 winning streak, but at least put like a 2 or 3 game winning streak?
Well, this is very easy because I yell this stuff at the TV every 5 seconds when I'm watching the games. But basically, play more through the middle. Mm-hmm. Don't always cross the ball every single chance you get, especially when there's nobody there to cross it to.
Sure.
And take some pot shots out of the box. I mean, that game against Charlotte, with Miller being the most suspect keeper in the entire league, and we didn't test him once. And all you have to do is have the man make some decisions, and he will get it wrong. And we did not test the keeper when we should have just been taking shots from 40 yards every 5 minutes because that would have given us a result. But somehow, and this is why the question that I asked you guys via Twitter on the last one is what is it? What is it that keeps us from taking these shots? Because we have players that can make those shots. I mean, we have players that can take those shots. So why it doesn't happen? I mean, they don't even look like they're considering it. They're not even considering it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Man, let me tell you, every time I see Lewis Houghton curl a ball in from a set piece, I'm just waiting for the day where he curls one from outside the 18 into a top left or right corner. But I still have yet to see it. You know?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Exactly. And yeah, this is my last question, Aaron. But what would it mean, assuming that the Rowdies go on and reach the point that they did last season with the Eastern Conference Final, and even just make the USL Championship? What would it mean for the St. Pete and Tampa area if the Rowdies can win the USL Championship or reach the same stage they did last season?
Well, I mean, in regards to keeping the Tampa Bay thing alive, I mean, this is just unprecedented, right? So
It is,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I mean, just keep the trophies rolling in.
Yeah, definitely.
What would it mean for the Tampa Bay in general? I mean, maybe a little bit of more exposure. I would hope. If we have a team that doesn't just make the conference final. I mean, I guess you can kind of rag on that, like, oh, it's not a real trophy, or it was just kind of an almost trophy or whatever. If we win it, then that kind of goes away. But how much that will do to the actual exposure, I don't know. Hopefully it will do some, but we'll wait and see.
Mm-hmm. I think you win things and you get a lot more people on board anyway.
Absolutely.
That's the goal. Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. I'm gonna give it over to my colleague James, and he'll ask you some questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have two more in-depth questions, and then I have just a fun one after that. But I don't want to take up too much of your time here. So, my one question about the fan outreach that you guys do. You obviously want to build the base. How much would you say is there Hispanic outreach going on? Because I'm sure that obviously there's a lot of Hispanic or a big Hispanic population in the area that might not be as involved with the local teams because it's something that probably isn't as common in it's not even as common outside of the Hispanic community, I would imagine, for people to be super aware of the Rowdies and where they're going. So just wanted to see what you guys were possibly doing in that area.
Yeah, so we do have a Spanish Twitter feed. I mean, it's not really directly connected to the mob. It is, I mean, somewhat. The Tampa proper guys, which is essentially the Tampa arm of the mob, or a subsidiary of the mob,
okay.
is Hispanic guys, and they try to push it. It's a very interesting question because, and I've had this question quite a bit too, because when we have these, we have the friendlies here at Al Lang from South America and Central America, and I mean the support that shows up for that is wild.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so where are these guys for this game? And I've actually posted this question in different places on Reddit and on Twitter and things like that. And even though the direct answers I couldn't really repeat here, but basically from what I gather, even if someone has some sort of connection to their local team, that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to connect to a team here, which I understand. My view was always, if you're a soccer fan and you like going to the games and you like that atmosphere, and especially if you're a supporter, then if you move away from your team, why do you strip yourself of that experience going forward now just because you're in a different place? Doesn't mean that you have to stop supporting your old team, but why not get involved with the local team? For that, I didn't really get an answer, but mainly from what I gather, from what I've been told, is that mostly Hispanic and Latin style support doesn't gel with our kind of white boy support, and so they don't really have time for us. So I don't really know how to handle that, because I definitely want more people to come. I want it to be all inclusive. We are all inclusive. How we can outreach to the Latin communities and the Hispanic communities to get more involved with the team. I don't know. Maybe be a little bit more Latin in our approach to the support, but at the same time, we have our niche. We have our way of doing things.
Sure.
I don't know. It's a tough one. How do you get more people of color to come be involved in something that's essentially a white boy dominated support culture? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there's multiple things around the country that do. have Hispanic cells and black cells and Asian cells of supporters groups, but why can't we all just be one? I don't know. So
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's fair for everyone's understanding here. So my next question is then there are a couple of teams that I've noticed, or at least one recently. Charlotte is joining MLS, not the one that we play, but they are getting a chief fan officer, and I was wondering if this is something that you possibly would like to see here, or what you would like to see in terms of interactivity through the official team itself.
So everything that Charlotte is doing is bad news. So here's the thing. In regards to the actual supporters culture, I mean, it is very, very, very important for us to stay separate from the team. So while we definitely want a team liaison and a direct communicative route to the front office, in regards to that, that would be a no-go. I mean, we want to stay connected with the team, and we want to have open communication in regards to what they're doing and what we're doing, and to make sure that all that gels. But in regards to having like that's not something that we would want to do. We do have open communication with the team, whether it be with Lee Cohen, the actual director of the team, to various members of the staff that are in charge of game day operations and things like that. But anything over and above that, then you start kind of stepping on toes, if you will. So basically, I mean, we have a very good agreement with the team now, that when it comes down to brass tacks, is you don't tell us how to run this group, and we don't tell you how to run the team, and that's basically where we are, and it's golden.
Okay, I mean, that's understandable. That makes sense.
And we do have, just sorry to interrupt. We do have.
No, go ahead.
We do have members at large, which within Ralph's Mob there are designated individuals that are kind of represent a go-to to the general fan base or to the rest of the mob at large in regards to if they have questions or if they have suggestions or if they have something that they would like to see come to pass or to come to fruition or to incorporate into the mob or to the experience. We do have those individuals outside of our board that can answer any questions and things like that. So those people are out there, but in regards to actual connection with the team, we can't have anybody that's paid by the team that is in our board and anything like that, because it's a conflict of interest. So,
gotcha. All right, well, that answers that then. And my last one here, I just want to ask you, like I said, a fun one. What is your favorite chant that Ralph's Mob does?
Well, for the ones that we actually do regularly, I'd say probably the Spider-Man chant is probably my favorite currently. We do have a version of "That's the Rowdies" to the tune of "That's Amore," which I think we've only pulled off maybe 2 or 3 times since it's been written. I absolutely love that chant, and maybe I'll try to force the issue a little bit more going forward. But I'd say the Spider-Man chant is currently my favorite.
Would you give us a quick rundown if you don't mind?
That's the one that goes, "Here we go, so clap your hands, mobster party, up in the stands, help the boys, win the fight, it's green and gold until we die, that's right. We'll all get rowdy tonight," to the tune of the old school Spider-Man theme, so the old 70s actual cartoon theme.
Nice. I like that. I like that. That's pretty good. And the throwback in the rhythm of it.
Yes.
So Aaron, do you have any questions for us at this point?
Well, the most pressing question that I would really wanted to hear you guys' opinion on, you covered in the last cast when I questioned the shooting outside the box. One question, I guess, is what prompted you guys to start this podcast? I mean, where did it come from? How long have you guys been around the team and the games and things like that?
Well, RBLR was its own separate thing, and they were, covering obviously the all the teams in Tampa Bay. So when it came time that the Rowdies were able to get their own channel, so to speak, within the RBLR podcast sphere, that's when Eureka put out the search on social media saying, hey, can we get somebody to step in for this? And then I came along, I saw the option to do that, and I thought, this is something that I follow obviously very closely. It's something that I wanted to get more involved in myself, and so that's where I was involved. Last year I was going to try and make it out to as many games as possible after not being to anywhere near as many games as I wanted beforehand, and then obviously COVID hit right before the first home game that I had tickets for. So it was bad timing, but this year I haven't been able to go to many games because I've been dealing with an ill member of my family, and I believe that at this point I will be able to start making it to more of those games. So I'm hoping that that will be the way that it goes for me, and I will actually get to take my notes when I'm watching the team live. That will be better for me.
Yeah, and for me, really, it's almost the same story as James. I seen that RBLR was looking for people to cover the Rowdies on social media, specifically on Twitter, and our producer Eureka, because I also cover USF men's soccer for USF. I write for the student newspaper over there, and our editor, he was actually on an episode with RBLR Sports, so I had like a little bit of connection there, and from there I went on, I'm thankful for Yuri for giving me this opportunity to cover the Rowdies. But yeah, I've been following this team since I believe 2014 and 2015. I was in 7th grade. I went to my first Rowdies game, and I've always had this image of it's a semi-pro team, it's second division. But then I went into the stadium, and it just felt like like at that time. That's when I realized that this is professional soccer, and in the stadium I felt the atmosphere like this is the same kind of atmosphere you get if you go to like MLS game or international game. Like there's people banging the drums, like you said, there's people singing chants. I seen a bunch of families with the Rowdies jerseys and all that good stuff. I was like, I was hooked from that moment on. So yeah, I just really followed this team, and I guess. Like I said, when RBLR decided to have a Rowdies section, similar to James, I wanted to get more involved, be more involved with not only the Rowdies, but people within that community.
That actually leads to another question. Since you say that you write for the USF, where are all those kids?
Those kids?
Yeah, where why aren't they coming to games? We've had so much reach out to USF Tampa, USF St. Pete, and all this stuff, and here and there that 5 or 6 of them will come out. But I mean, there should be armies of those kids coming out to the games.
Yeah, there should. I think because I go to the Tampa campus. I know the St. Pete campus is literally not far at all from Outland Stadium. You can literally walk to there. But I would say I know most of them tend to go to Bucks games because the USF football team also plays at Raymond James Stadium.
Yes.
But going to men's soccer games at USF, that the energy there is loud as well. Like they actually have lots of people attend those games, and I've been wondering the same thing. Like, why aren't these people going to Rowdies games? And these
we even share
Fridays.
The colors.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly, man.
So you don't even have to change.
They could just go dressed the way they usually do, walking around campus. But honestly, I don't know because. And the games are on Friday and Saturday nights too, so it'd be a cool place to hang out. Then you go somewhere after. But yeah, honestly, I don't know. I do have some friends that they realized I was on this Rowdies podcast, and they looked more into it. And some of them actually have been asking me for how much tickets are, and I'd be sending them to the Rowdies website to check all that stuff because I don't really know it on top of my head. And I believe some of them went. I'm not sure. I know my friend Daniel. He went to a couple games and. We've been meaning to link up and go to a game ourselves, together, but it hasn't really happened. I'm pretty sure it'll happen soon, but I think little by little, hopefully, students to start going to games.
Yeah, I mean, it only takes once. We've brought so many people that are not just not soccer fans, but not sports fans at all, and they come to a game, and from that point on, they just come to all the rest of the games because it's such a great time. I mean, it's definitely the best sporting experience in Tampa Bay. I mean, if you ask me, but I worked at Ray J for years. I used to supervise concessions there for the Bucks games and the Bulls games and all that stuff. And I mean, this is by far the most fun at a sporting event for sure. So one last question for both of you guys, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So, when is the dirty mudslinging rivalry going to begin between you guys and the unused substitutes? That's what I would like to know.
I don't know. I don't know that we're trying to step on any toes with them, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I think that a fun little rivalry would certainly be good. Maybe something like a competition where we see who has the most correct predictions, possibly. Maybe something that's maybe something that when we can all get to a game, all of the people who are behind the two podcasts, maybe we could do some of the tailgate competitions. I think that would be kind of fun.
Oh, there you go. Watch this
yeah,
space.
That would. Yeah, one thing. I remember I made a point earlier in the podcast that whenever Adebayo Smith gets his first start, he will score a goal. And I even tweeted that like whenever Adebayo Smith starts, he's gonna score his goal. So his first start, I believe it was against New York Red Bulls too, and he got his goal. And then all of a sudden, I just look at my phone and everyone is like saying like we need to check this podcast out. How to like let's spot on analysis, and people were like, I think someone from unused substitutes were like I forgot who it was from there, but they were like, like how'd you even catch this or anything? And I'm like, I just watch the games, bro. Just watch the games and you see.
That's right.
But I guess right now, because we're still new, we're still a growing a podcast over here. Unused subs, they've been out there for a while. I mean, they're even on the field. We're up there in the booth, so we have some catching up to do. But yeah, like James said. Hopefully we get a little not a bad rivalry, but a little fun rivalry, like you said.
Yeah,
predictions, analysis. Yeah,
Absolutely.
And we have a producer note here that he says that everyone at RBLR Sports loves Steven, Matt, and Dan very much, and just like with you and Skyway Casuals, we hope it's a good relationship instead of like we're trying to be better than you or we're better than you or each to us, not them.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, when when it comes down to it, I mean the more the better. I mean the more the more birds chirping the song of the Rowdies, the better. So.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt about it when RBLR was started, and I was like, well, maybe this is something that I could do literally just to make sure that there are more avenues for people to even check out information related to the Rowdies. But yeah, like Leo said, we do love the guys over at Unused Substitutes. I actually, before I joined RBLR, I subscribed to them. I've been a Patreon giver for I don't know maybe over a year now, but yeah, their podcast, they have been around for so long at this point. They are like the established folks, so I love that they are doing what they're doing, and they've got also the on the field pregame stuff for them. That is so cool. That is so awesome.
I agree.
We'll get there, and we got something better up our sleeves. We won't say yet, but we'll get there.
Oh, sounds good.
But Aaron, we're going to get into our previews now, so you are welcome to stay, and if you want to throw out any questions, you can unmute yourself and just let us know what you have if you want to, but otherwise we really appreciate you taking so much time out of your day. We've had your ear for quite a while now.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me, and keep up the great work. I'll be listening.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
All right, so Leo, we are going to get into our previews now. As we said, there are two games coming up this week. We're playing Hartford Athletic, and we are playing the Miami FC. So our first game will be July 13th. That is tomorrow, and we are playing in St. Pete. And then the other game is later this week, July 17th, and that is away. That is away to Miami. So Leo, you've got some notes here to go through, and you've got some quick takes to get to before we get into the full-on what we expect to see preview for these two.
Yeah, unfortunately, last week, I'm pretty sure as many people recall, I wasn't able to be on the podcast with Elsa and a bunch of other stuff happening in my family. I just, I was unfortunate not to be on that one, but I'm gonna make up for that time lost very quickly. So against, the first game last week, I thought the Rowdies were they were great. They were actually playing like the team that started out 5-0. The play was fast. The passes were on point. The side-to-side play was once again amazing. Everyone was on the same page. Every time the Rowdies went down, to the opponents a goal, I thought they were going to score. And also, it should have been way more than just 1-0. And I'm like, you know what? Neil Collins has found the right players. I think the Rowdies are finally figuring out the rhythm off of that a 1-0 win. And then they go to Miami, and then they rotate the squad. And although they play good soccer, it's not the strongest side. And against a Miami FC team that, let's be honest, they're in good form right now. They got good players who are changing that Miami team a little bit, to not be looked at just the Miami team that's not in MLS. They're trying to be they're their own Miami team, and I gotta give it to them. They kind of proved it. Last time out, they won 2-1 in that game. And like I said, I thought the Rowdies played good. They didn't have the strongest side. I believe if they did have the strongest side, they would have won. But one thing I did notice that just annoyed me throughout the game was the ball watching from Aaron Guillen and Jordan Scarlett, getting caught out of position too easily, the long balls. It was just annoying. You don't usually see this a lot. And although there are going to be games like this, it was just too easy. Maybe you see the one or two mistakes, but not the entire game. It was really annoying me throughout the game.
Yeah, I listened, or I watched the game, and then for anybody who did listen, it was very similar when I was going through the breakdown. I saw that these long balls were giving the Rowdies so much trouble, and that is something that, as Neil said when we talked after that game, that is something that is not usually the case. That is usually one of our strengths. So it's something that they really got to turn around, I think. And in my opinion, I'm expecting that to be a fluke. But we will see, obviously, when these next two games come up.
Definitely, yeah. And the first game from the next two against Hartford Athletic, like you said, tomorrow, 7:30 at Outland Stadium. Hartford are in 4th place in the Atlantic Division, which is the same division that the Rowdies play in. They have 17 points from 9 games, 2 games less played than the Rowdies, so it's a pretty good record. They're 5 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. And the last time they played the Rowdies, we won 1-0. And one thing to note here is that a fellow Florida State rivalry team, Orlando City, they recently loaned out, I believe, Derek Dodson, I believe that's his name. They loaned him out to Hartford Athletic, and on his debut, he scored a goal, and it just seems everything's clicking right for Hartford. And Rowdies coming off a defeat. We seen this last time. The Rowdies came off a defeat. They went on to win away against Hartford. Now they got to do the same, but at home, James.
Yeah, and the person that you highlighted, Derek Dodson, that is a good pickup for them. I watch as much college soccer as I can watch, which means usually 3 games a season because they're all behind ridiculous paywalls. But that's the way the world is going. And I was able to see Derek Dodson for a couple of games over the course of his college career. He is a good player at this level. He is going to do very well on loan from Orlando. Whether or not he's good enough for MLS, I'm not entirely sure, but definitely here he will be able to make an impact, and he's already done that. So he's a player that we need to keep an eye on, and he's stepping in right now for 2 players that are out for Hartford. They currently have Juan Carlos Obregon away with the Honduran under-23 national team for the Olympics. So that's good enough for him. Good for him, and better for the Rowdies. And then the other player is Walmar Martinez. He is a Salvadoran American, and he is playing for the El Salvador national team in the Gold Cup. So those are 2 players that are out. But then obviously, like I said, Derek Dodson has come in, and he will be more than capable of filling those shoes. So he is a player that the Rowdies will have to keep an eye on, even more so than the rest of the team that they've already learned about from their previous game.
Yeah, it's really special. You talk about those 2 players are international duty. It's for the league, for USL, it's really special to have players go on and play for the country. Although they're away from their team, I think anytime you get a player in your league who's representing their country, it's a really special moment.
Oh, it brings a lot more eyes to the league, in my opinion. There are players who are coming from countries where, they might not know too much about the USL, but suddenly El Salvador's national team has a couple players playing in this league, and the people from El Salvador might be thinking to themselves, "Oh, why am I not watching this? What is going on? Let me check this out." So, I would like to see that. I said last week when Eureka was on that. It amazes me that Jordan Scarlett doesn't get called up for Jamaica, because there are several players from this league that have made the Gold Cup team for that country, and the best team in the league is the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The best the best defensive unit in this league is the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and one of those is Jordan Scarlett. I feel like they're really leaving somebody behind. And I was saying to Eureka, we definitely need to get on social media and just start tagging Jamaica in the Jamaican Federation in every single highlight video that Jordan Scarlett takes part in.
Man, we need to tweet that ASAP, bro. Like, he needs to be on there, man. Like, the last good Jamaican defender I can remember was the dude from Leicester.
Morgan.
Yes, that's his name. Yeah, him, man. He was great, but... Yeah, Jordan Scarlett, he's fast, he's strong, he reads the play well. But yeah, we need to get that out there. And that reminds me, we need to get, I believe it's Sebastian Guizzati. I don't know if it's on Instagram or Twitter, but he's not verified on one of those accounts, and we need to do something about that. He's going to be a legendary figure for this club, and he needs to be verified. So we need to get on that as well.
Yeah. But anyway, so those are what we're looking at in terms of the people who are available, people who are not available, and otherwise, it's kind of the same other players to highlight this week for Hartford as it was last time. They are, other than those couple that we said, obviously, they are mostly the same team as before, and we're going to have to keep an eye out on players like Danny Barrera. Danny Barrera is the same guy that we highlighted the last time that the Rowdies lined up against Hartford. He has, I believe, still sitting on 4 goals and 5 assists at this point. That might have changed, so I apologize if I have done him wrong there. But he's a very good player, again, at this league, at this level, and he's going to be very important to anything and everything that Hartford does moving forward up the field. And the other player that I wanted to highlight, Thomas Janjigian, is a defender. He will also step up into the midfield, and if anybody would like to, please go up online and check out his name. That's Janjigian, and if you do look him up, you will see one of the best goals that you have seen so far this season. He scored an absolute stunner this past weekend, but so unfortunately for the Rowdies, that is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, they need to keep an eye on that, and that another thing they need to keep an eye on. This brings us to our keys to win the game, and one thing that we need to keep in mind is the Rowdies. Although they beat Hartford 1-0 last time out, they haven't been same team twice. Back to back. So the second time comes around, and they haven't beaten them. Although I think that's a problem. I feel like Neil Collins should have more than enough evidence of how to address this issue. What can he do best? So in my opinion, I think for this game, the Rowdies backline needs to stay disciplined and focused the entire match, because I believe the Rowdies need to approach this game in a professional manner. And by that, I mean they need to play more defensively. Let Hartford have most of the possession. Let them be the team in control, and just hit them on a counter. Take advantage of the pace from Dayon Harris and Connor Antley to counterattack. You have the quality in the middle of the field from Jordan Doherty, Lewis Hilton. You can always rely on Leo Fernandez, and you can always rely on Sebastian Guizzati. So if you approach the same game as the last time you won, why wouldn't you win again? And although last time we did see Hartford just blow that penalty kick straight to the stars, I don't know what that was about. I'm not saying it's gonna happen again, but you got the result. And when you play a team like Hartford, who like you said, although they're without good players, they recently got a new one from Orlando City. So don't overthink it. That's all I'm trying to say. If you try to hit on a counter, and this team is vulnerable with that. We've seen what Sebastian Dahlgaard did to them last time out. So I just think that if they want to win this game, don't overthink it. Be the team that annoying and unattractive football team that just sits back and just pisses off the other team. Let them make their own mistakes, and you counter and you score on them.
That's right. The game that we most recently played against Miami, it turned into the way that the rest of the game went. It ultimately turned into a game of mistakes. And if you are the team that made the most mistakes, then unfortunately, like we saw, that will mean that you lose. I think that we need to turn it around and be the team that makes the fewest mistakes, like we usually are, like we almost always have been this season.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you have anything to add on to that, James? Any keys and any ideas for the Rowdies to win?
No, my biggest part was the same thing that you said was the concentration. You can't lose concentration like we did, and I think that Neil Collins is a very professional coach, and these are all very professional players at this level. They know what they need to do. If you have a game like that, you're going to go back, you're going to watch the tape, and you're going to be like, wow, I cannot believe that even that was allowed to, even those things were allowed to go on. So they're going to know that they need to, have an extra coffee or whatever it is to keep them a little more focused. But they'll have that in their head for sure.
Plus, we got the Ralph's mob, of course, backing them up. So we need that energy from the stadium to back them up. So there should be no excuses for this one.
That's right. That's right.
And I think this leads to our predictions for this game. You ready, James?
All right. I guess we're ready. Who's going first, you or me?
You know what? You told me to go first last time, and you regretted that. So I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, that's very gentlemanly of you. I appreciate that. So, this is a home game, like we've said, against Hartford. Let me see. What am I thinking? I'm gonna go with a shot out of the blue here. I'm gonna say 3-1 win.
3-1 win. Wow. Okay. I just, I want to say that they're gonna win by a lot, and I want to say they want to win in general, but I just think that this back line is low-key scaring me a little bit. It looks like some players need a rest. Maybe a formation change, but none of that's going to happen. So I'm going to regret it, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
I don't think they'll lose, but I don't think they'll win either.
The only correct answer here is Leo Fernandez, gentleman's hat trick, left foot, right foot, and header.
I would love to see that. That would be fantastic for his 101st appearance.
That stadium will be loud if that happens, man. I would never go against the Rowdies ever again.
All right. Well, that is not the only game that we have this week. We have one, like we said, on Saturday at 7:30, and this is away to Miami FC, the Miami FC. Let us remember, and it will be on turf as it was just last week. So, Leo, can you give us a little bit more information about this?
Yeah, so like I said, they play Saturday, July 17th at 7:30. Miami are in third place in front of Hartford, still behind us. They're in third place in the Atlantic Division, same division as the Rowdies. They got 20 points from 13 games. So although they reached that 20-point benchmark, they have 2 games played more than the Rowdies. So that's good for us. That's good for us because now we have more games to make up to hopefully extend that gap between the Miami FC. But last time, these two teams played, which was very, very recent, Miami won 2-1. And, like I said, although I thought the Rowdies played good, they could have played better. I think that defense is, you mentioned, James, how they're basically the best defensive unit in the league. They kind of haven't been looking like that recently. Aaron Gein's been in and out of form. Forrest Lasso, although he's staying strong, he's still making mistakes here and there. Jordan Scarlett, he scored that beautiful goal, but he was caught ball watching. They got beaten too easily. So, a lot of things could go wrong with this team, but they should have the quality to beat this Miami team. And I think if they want to win this game, approach the game in the same way, but with your usual starting 11. If you start Leo Fernandez, if you put Connor Antley out there, I think you win this game. You have 2 players who been playing a lot of games throughout the season who are on the same chemistry as the other players on the field. They're on the same tempo, same page. So I feel like you'll get more chances to create opportunities, to score goals. And like I said, continue that side-to-side play. Teams, when they go up against the Rowdies, when the Rowdies continue to change the ball from the left to the right, over time throughout the game, they get overwhelmed, they get tired, they lose concentration. Sometimes they think, let me leave Leo Fernandez all the way out there, or let me leave Connor Antley all the way out there. The ball's over here. Then you switch it, and the whole team has to shift, and that's when you catch them, out of position. So I believe that right there should be a go-to because Miami couldn't handle the high press. They were a little shaky defensively, and like I said earlier, they need to clean up those backline mistakes and be more critical in the final third. And as Aaron mentioned it earlier, when he says how he yells at his TV, do not cross the ball if there's no one in the middle. And make sure someone's in the damn middle if you're going to cross the ball. Or like he said, like what he also said, shoot outside of 18. Lewis Hilton, you got a beautiful curve. Take advantage of it. Shoot outside of 18. One of those are
just have it go. Yeah.
Exactly. So those are my keys to win the game. Anything new from you, James?
No. We've seen them play Miami. I don't have anything much more to add at this point. It's going to come down to these games are going to be played against people who know each other kind of inside and out at this point. It's defenders who are going to know what their attackers are going to try to do, and vice versa. So the biggest thing is just going to be who is going to have enough quality in the end to actually come away with this. Miami is going to be the thorn in our side, it seems, so far this year. Last year it was Charleston, and right now I think that Miami are definitely the highest in the running for that illustrious title, I suppose. But it will be the case that there's going to be some punches thrown back and forth, so to speak. It's going to be one way or the other, one way and the other, over the course of the 4 games that we play them this season, and I'm hoping that we will be able to come out on top with a better record. But that's just going to come down to the Rowdies playing like the Rowdies know how they can. And if they play up to their level, then I don't doubt that we can beat this Miami team, even when they have the players that they're currently missing. Let alone right now when a couple of those players are away for international duty with Haiti and Jamaica. So that's my overall takeaway.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to highlight any players because we've literally played them a few days back. So I think people watching this game know who to keep an eye on, know what the Rowdies should look out for. So without further ado, I think it's time for a round 2 of predictions, James.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump in and go with this one. Now, you said 1-1 for the last game. I'm gonna steal your prediction there, and I'm gonna say that this is going to be a 1-1 game away in Miami.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. 1, because I can't copy your answer, and 2, because I think it's starting to see we're starting to see a little rivalry between these teams. I think Tampa's gonna want to make that final claim of who is the better team. So, like I said, as long as you put a starting 11 in, I think Tampa should win 3-0 or 3-1. I'm going with, because of that back line, I'm gonna go with 3-1. But of course, Aaron's gonna give us the right answer. So go ahead, Aaron.
I just wanted to mention that Miami's game is their first game open to the public. So we will be going, hopefully in some numbers. So if anybody wants to join us, definitely get on the Discord to organize with us. And also, since we'll be down there kind of pushing the lads and making the noise, and obviously we want to make a statement and have to take the rivalry back 100%. So we must win. So I say 2-1.
Okay. I love that. That's a great plug to jump in there and say, hey, you want to be part of a rivalry? Come and join. That's perfect.
And Aaron is never wrong. Remember that, people. Aaron is never wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong all the time. Thanks.
All right, James. I think it's time for our hot take of the week. Are you ready?
Yeah, you start us off here.
All right. So my hot take of the week is I believe Aaron Guillen will be better suited as a left back in the back 4 than a center back in the back 3. Because just again in the Miami game, he looks more comfortable on the ball than. I'm not saying he's a bad defender. He's a really good defender, but he's just eager to get up the line, eager to make the overlapping run, eager to be another outlet. But when that happens, you leave that left side vulnerable, empty, and that's when you see the long balls going through that side where he's still catching up to the player. So, like I said, I know Neil Collins is never gonna, not never, but hardly gonna change the formation, especially change a back 3 to a back 4. Well, I just think he'll be better suited as a left back. Maybe we'll see more assists from him, more involved in that final third in the attacking play. So that's my hot take of the week.
I really like that hot take myself. I think that Aaron Guillen playing at left back would allow Leo Fernandez to obviously jump up higher, and he loves to get into the attack. We've seen that. So I think that Aaron Guillen's strength as a defender is his 1v1 defending. He rarely gets beat on the dribble, but as you said, we did notice some problems when he was dealing with these long balls from their defensive line up to Miami's attackers. So Miami only actually had one striker sitting against our defense, and then they had players who would switch into that position and then play off of him. So if there's only one guy that the center backs need to mark, it's really the case that you could push somebody into a little bit of a higher position when they start with possession, and Evan Loro has the ball at the back. I think that Aaron Guillen moving up into that position would be pretty good. But my hot take is a little similar to what yours is. It is not quite about formation, but what I want to see, I've talked about formation before. I think that it would be nice to, if we're chasing games, maybe switch it to a 4-4-2, see how that goes. But at the very least, what I would like to see this week is more rotation with our starting lineup. If we're going to keep the same formation, which, as you said, very likely, let's at least try to get some other players who are into different positions here. Let's see, maybe Dayon Harris gets a run at right wing back, if not Connor Antley. Let's see Matthew Serbel, what he can do if you give him a start. And if we have a couple more midfielders back than we have had over the course of this season, let's see how they can do when they're partnered together, if it's still behind Zach Steinberger or if it's behind Matthew Serbel. And one other player that I would like to see get a little bit more time is Jordan Adebayo-Smith. He is a player who, when he actually plays on the front as a striker, he brings different things from Dayon Harris, who, as we've mentioned in previous podcasts, loves to run at players and try and beat them on the dribble, whereas Jordan Adebayo-Smith likes to try to run in behind players and beat them in his off-the-ball movement. So I think that is something that Miami would be less inclined to deal with, based on the profile of the center backs that the Rowdies are going to be coming up against here. I would like to hope that maybe we'll see something like that.
I agree. With everything you just said, especially with Adebayo-Smith. We know he missed those 2 chances that one game. I can't remember who it was against, and then the game after that he gets replaced by Dayon Harris when he makes those. He almost salvages a point for the Rowdies. But I would like to see him again. I think it's time where you give the kid another shot. Like I said kid because he's still young. I think we're about the same age. He might be a little bit older than me, but you should give him another try. And I'm pretty sure he's learned from his lessons. He needs the confidence right now, and we don't know how long Dos Santos is going to be out for. So I think you need all your strikers full of confidence, ready to go. So why not give him another shot? And like you said, put Dayon Harris on the right wing back row. See how he does. And with Matthew Serbel, we said it before in this podcast that Zach Steinberger hasn't really been the best number 10. Maybe Serbel might offer something different. If you start him a whole game, will he have that creativity that the Rowdies need to get more goals in? We don't know. And I agree with you, James. We do need more rotation in the starting lineup.
Yeah. So that's the hot takes, and I think that, Leo, you had one more thing that you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, something I see on Twitter. It's pretty interesting. I want to leave the show with this. Leo Fernandez is now second in most assists in Rowdies history. And I had to do a little research. I had to look it up. I wasn't sure if it was true, but it actually is true. He has 18 assists, so he's second now. But he's about a little less, halfway behind to take number one. Number one is with Georgi Hrstov. He has 31 assists. So 31 compared to 18. Fernandez has some work to do. But to be fair, he had 18 assists in 100 appearances. Hrstov had 31 assists in 168 appearances. So he has about 68 games to better that record in a lower amount of games. But a good thing for Leo Fernandez. Also hopefully makes his 100 first appearance tomorrow. So everything's going good for Rowdies in regards to their history and history being made.
And I think everybody would be even all the more ecstatic for him were he to get another assist, or even more importantly, get a goal there.
I wouldn't put it past him to break the record either. He's been really great all season long.
Yes, I am in total agreement with you. But with that all said now, we are going to wrap this up. We want to thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And obviously, we want to give a big thank you to Aaron Retkes from Ralph's Mob. It was extremely good to talk to you and have a really cool conversation about all the stuff that you guys do. And I want to give them a plug again. I would like everybody, if you can, please check them out at least on social media, if not going to the website. And as he mentioned, check them out in the Discord. It is good for the banter. It is good for information. So give them a like, give them a follow, and please follow us as well. Please follow us if you can at RBLR Sports on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. You can also follow myself. I am on Twitter at RBLR James K. And Leo, I believe you are also available there.
Yeah, you can follow me at _Leo Santos __. That's 2 underscores at the end.
So everybody make sure you get those 2 underscores. The other thing that I want to plug at this point, if you have any questions, please let us know. We love discussing those, and they have led to a lot of good information that we could analyze in conjunction with the games that we watched. You can do that with the hashtag AskRBLR. So, please reach out to us through there. And as always, like and subscribe to our podcast. You can do that on Spotify, on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple and Google Podcasts, as well as YouTube and all other major podcast platforms.
Yeah, thank you, listeners, for your time. And Aaron, if you're still there, do you want to say anything else before we go?
No, just thank you guys for having me and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Aaron. But yeah, that's going to do it here on RBLR Rowdies, on RBLR Sports. And until next time, thank you, listeners. And as always, go Rowdies and come on, you Rowdies.
Come on, you Rowdies.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.